Hi everybody, Mark here with Game Maker's playlist for February 2017. February? How do I say that? February? Something like that. This is a video where I share recommendations for indie games you might have missed. Starting with this one, it's called Astroneer, and it's a sci-fi mining game in space, and it's often described as the game No Man's Sky should have been, because it has some similar stuff, but it also has proper, well done terraforming, it's got way more crafting stuff like vehicles and printers, and it even has multiplayer. But actually, it's quite a different game than No Man's Sky, where that game was about sort of free-form exploration and wandering around weird planets looking at stuff. This is more of a proper survival experience. You're going to run out of oxygen and power if you're not careful. You need to think about what you're going to make and when, how to use your various resources, stuff like that. And instead of being able to explore freely and just go for a wander, if you do that, you're going to die. So instead, you want to build tethering ropes to connect you back to your base station. And because they can only stretch so far, you feel like you're exploring this world like inch by inch, slowly creeping out into the cold, dark, isolated expanse of this sci-fi world. Feels a lot more like hard sci-fi of exploration and generally dying in a cave somewhere. It's also got a very different art style than No Man's Sky, with a sort of low poly, grow home style aesthetic, compared to No Man's Sky, which looked like someone vomited up a load of Play-Doh. I guess you can explore other planets in Astroneer as well, but I haven't got that far yet. I'm just still in a cave, whacking away at rocks. This game is on early access on Steam and should be coming out for a full release in the near future. Okay, so this next game is called Obduction, which is a weird name, and it comes from Cyan, who made Myst and Riven back in the day. Now, I never actually played those games, despite being a massive point-and-click adventure nerd. I'm not sure how I missed them. I probably would have liked them, considering how much I love Obduction. It has really got its claws in me. This is a first-person puzzle game, a bit like The Witness or the Talos Principle, but it doesn't have a kind of set mechanic or a set series of verbs you're using. Instead, you just sort of wander around, fiddle with machines, spin wheels, pull levers, read notes, that kind of thing. It feels a bit more like a classic point-and-click adventure. However, there is no inventory, but you do get to take photos of stuff and save that in a camera roll, which you can use if you kind of see an interesting clue or a note you might want to save for later, and then bring that up when you need it to solve a puzzle. This game is really, really big and maze-like and slightly overwhelming in the complexity of its world, lots of branching paths and loads of puzzles you can take on in any order you like, which is good because you can get stuck on one puzzle and then go try something else. Not so good when you're just completely overwhelmed and swamped by the number of things you can do, and then you don't make any progress for ages, and you finally solve a puzzle, and the reward is a shortcut between two places on the maze, and it's infuriating, but I love it. It really keys into, actually, some of the stuff I talked about in my video on Zelda 1, which is that this game is, very indifferent to you. It is open, of course, it has a lot of mystery to it, and a lot of surprises, genuine surprises. I didn't know much about this game going in, so there was lots of stuff in the game that really shocked me. I'm not showing that on the video, of course, because I want you to have a similar experience to me. Obduction is available on PC, and it has Oculus Rift support. It's coming to PS4 soon with PlayStation VR support, which is kind of annoying, actually. I kind of wish I waited, but I don't think I can wait any longer because I'm just so addicted to this game and want to play more, and I wish I was playing it right now, so maybe as soon as this video is done, I'll go play some more. Okay, this is completely different to Obduction. This is a game about a girl who returns to her hometown after dropping out of school and struggles to get back into her old life and old friendships and her family and stuff like that. Except everyone is an animal. Your main character is a cat, your best friend is a crocodile? No, someone else is a crocodile. There's a crocodile, there's a bear, there are other characters too. It's lovely. It's like Arthur if it were a zine, you know, something like that. I don't know. This game is not big on gameplay. It's got some mini-games, some platforming bits. It inextricably has the triple jump from Super Mario 64, but for the most part this is a dialogue-driven story game with some dialogue choices. I don't know how much the story branches or whatever. Luckily that dialogue is excellent. It's really well written, it's really funny, it's really charming. And there are so many different characters with completely unique personalities, and it generally just explores themes that games just don't touch on these days, or have ever done, so that's nice. If you like games like Firewatch and Gone Home, which, you know, explore more personal human drama, this is the game for you. It won't be for everyone, obviously, but if this looks like your sort of game, it could end up being one of your very favourites, because it has such a charming cast of characters and an interesting story. And finally, it's your obligatory indie puzzle game on Steam. Sorry, I'm too predictable, but this is a really nice one. It's called Induction, and it's a time travel game where you do stuff and record it, and then play back that recording and solve puzzles with a past version of yourself. Now that might sound really clever and revolutionary, but I should note that it has been in some other games before. Off the top of my head, I can think of some of the Clank levels in one of the Ratchet & Clank games, and the Talos Principle had a lot of this stuff. And I kind of should note that these were often my least favourite levels in the Talos Principle, not because they sucked, they were good puzzles, they were just really tricky and required a huge amount of sort of mental gymnastics to keep in your brain 2 timelines and 2 versions of every character and think about how all that stuff is going to work. It was just a bit too much sometimes, and I could only really stomach like 1 or 2 of those puzzles per session. Luckily, they're more simple in Induction, and you can kind of grind through a whole bunch of them in one go. That's thanks to the more simple art style, the grid-like movement, and the static camera. Though, is it just me, or are isometric cameras and movement really kind of finicky when like the camera and your arrow keys are at different angles and you don't quite know which button to press to move to the left? I don't know, maybe it's just me. Anyway, there are your games, 4 games, nice games, different genres hopefully, different styles, something for everyone. Check them out, let me know if you like any of them, let me know if you hate any of them, let me know anything. Thanks for watching, see you next month, and cheers for your continued support.